Okay, so what is linked list? Linked list is a kind of a list, uh, which is in Java it is doubly linked list. So linked list is a data structure where it starts from head and it goes till tail. So in case of doubly linked list, it is a collection of node, and each node is a element. Each node has it is basically three parts. One is element, one is the link to the previous node, and one is linked to the next node. So in case of array list, each element whatever we are storing, that is the value. But in case of linked list, each element what we are storing, it is element, it is a value of, it is the content of that data, plus address of the previous one, link to the previous one, and link to the next one. Okay, so let me open that linked list. So let's close other things. Okay, so here if you see linked list implements list. Okay, linked list implements list. Linked list implements dq doubly. That's what it is coming as priority queue. It is queue implementation as well. Okay, it is clonable and serializable. So leave clonable and serializable. I will tell you detail about that. So if you see linked list here, it has nodes. So it has first, okay, it has last, and when you create a linked list, it is having nodes. So every node has, it has nodes. So every node, that is nothing but when you are trying to add in something into the linked list, you are inserting as a node. Okay, so every node has three parts. One is item, that is the value of that. Okay, and one is node, and another one is also node. So first node is the previous, next it is the link to the next node, and previous is the link to the previous node. Okay, so what is e here? If you see on top, so E is the nothing but what type of element I am going to put into the linked list. So E, so your element will be your type of the object. Suppose you are storing the string into a linked list, so E is the string. So the node is, every node will have element of string type, and the link to the previous node and link to the next node. Again node has the same thing. So it starts from first and it goes till last. Okay, let's create one class to understand it better. So let's create one class called test. Let's create in package basic collection. So test linked list. Okay, so let's write one main method. Okay, let's create two employees. Employee E1 is equal to new employee, and give ID and name, say Nonit. Okay, create another employee. E2 is equal to new employee, give its ID as say 10 and values say Maxwell. Okay, again you can say employee E3 equal to new employee 12 Abhijit. Okay, so I have created 3 employee. I am going to store into linked list collection. So I will say list linked list is equal to new linked list. Okay, so it has all the capability of that list has. Okay, so let's add few values. Let's add E1. Okay, let's add E2. Let's add E3. Okay, let's try to print that. If you see that here, it doesn't have much difference how array list was printing. Okay, it is again ordered. Okay, the difference is in terms of data structure. Here I want to store into as employee, so I need to give the type of object that I need to store into linked list. Okay, so let's try to see the data structure of this linked list. So let's do the debug. Okay, so while doing the debug, the values how I got it, let me explain you in detail. So in this list, what is the first element? The element which I inserted first, that is item, is Navneet. Okay, so then this item has first has next and previous, because it is first element, so there is no previous, so previous is null. So what is next? Next is another item, okay, which is Maxwell, and it has next also and previous also. So this next has item Avjit and previous is nothing but Navneet. Okay, so this item Maxwell has previous Navneet and next as Abhijit, and this last element, that is last, will not have any next because this is last, so it has item as Abhijit and previous item is Maxwell. So this is how your data structure is formed for linked list. So every element is a kind of node which has its content as well as next and previous. So when linked list will be used, a linked list will be used when you have a bunch of insertion. At the time you can use linked list, because linked list is very easy to insert at first and last, okay, and middle also. So in case of why it is faster, why insertion is faster in linked list, because in case of array list, when you are look for inserting something in between, it will do the whole traversal from index 0 till that index. In case of linked list, you have opportunity to add at position on after some node or before some node. Okay, that way insertion will be faster. It is direct insertion. So when you have heavy insertion, use linked list. If when you have heavy searching, use array list. Okay, so it has all the methods of that you have already seen in array list. Okay, so Let's try to see how will you do the uh, iteration in linked list and array list. So far we have seen that we can get the object at any index. Now if I want to iterate the collection, whole collection, if I want to iterate, so what I need to do for that, list your list interface provides iterator method. Okay, so iterator method returns iterator interface. So iterator interface is required when you have a collection and you want to iterate its element. So how we need to do, we need to say that iterator of say employee. Okay, I can say that empit is equal to ll dot iterator. Okay, once I get the iterator, what I need to do, I need to say empit dot has nest till the time it has nest. If you remember, I have talked about string tokenizer, where it will take all the content of a string and kind of iterated, it will tokenize them and doing the by assessing, putting condition that while it has element or not, and you just need to get the next element. The way iteration done by string tokenizer, something like that, that kind of iteration is done by uh, this iterator class as well, iterator interface as well. Okay, so here I will say empit dot next. So if I want to print out, I will say empit dot next. So if you run this one, you will get 1 only, 10 Maxwell, 12 upseed, and this is because it is list, it is ordered. Okay, remember that linked list or array list are, those are not, or list interface, those are not synchronized. So synchronized collection is the collection which is shared to one thread at one time. Okay, so multiple thread cannot access one instance of collection at one time. Okay, so that is the place where we say that a collection object is synchronized. Okay, so array list is not synchronized. I will take a closer look on when I will explain about thread and synchronization. That time I will explain about how to do the synchronization and all those things. So this is one way of it listing that content of your collection, array list or linked list, or any collection, any collection that implements list. So let's try to see the second way. Second way of doing is very simple. Just use the for loop. So here for loop, I'll say int I is equal to 0, I less than ll dot ll dot size. Okay, then I say I plus plus. So how I will do that, I will say that how I will access the element, I will say ll dot get index I am passing as I. So that way also I can iterate it. So here you will see the same result. Okay, now third way of doing it, it is kind of for loop only, but when JDK 1.5 was introduced, they introduced enhanced for loop. Enhanced for loop is used for iterating the content of the collection. So enhanced for loop is used for those collection where you are those collections which are iterable. Okay, so suppose I am using here linked list, so linked list is iterable, so here I can use linked list. So enhanced for loop can be used for linked list as well, array list as well. Okay, so what is the thing I need to do here? I need to just give the object. Okay, so here I need to say that object, this is the object which uh, which this linked list or array list stores. So here array list, this linked list is storing the object of type employee. So I will say employee and I will give the any object name and then column, then list name. Okay, so the list name is here LL. This is the list I have used to store the values. Okay, so now I will say, just say emp. So this way of doing is very much popular now. Whenever you are doing whenever you are trying to iterate a collection, use this enhanced for loop. So this is very much recommended. So result wise it is same. Okay, so these are the ways you can iterate collection. Okay, so any collection which is iterable, that you can uh, use as an enhanced for loop. Otherwise this method, second one, is pretty much old, and this is something you are using the capability of your linked list or array list. Okay, so this is how you can iterate your array list, linked list, or any collection which are iterable. Okay, that's all about linked list. Here we have covered iteration of content that I have not covered in array list. So this is the place I wanted to cover both because this concept is applicable for both. Okay, let's move to the next topic, that is set.